Mr. Usteyn, the compilation of cell phone data by Vodacom is governed by the provisions of Section 25 of Act 2002, which is the Electronic Communications and Transaction Act. And that is the authority that empowers them to compile cell phone records and data. Now, in your case, what body of legislation or authority enables you or empowers you to compile all the information that you just presented at court here?
My Lord, did he address me or Mr. Usteyn?
The address is Helen Usteyn.
No, Mr. Usteyn.
Okay, fine.
Oh.
On his behalf, Helen Usteyn, may you answer that?
The investigation officer, like I already mentioned in court, applied through the normal legal way to get hold of the documentation. It's been signed by a magistrate, and in that way we receive it in a legal way.
That I understand. The investigating officer applies from the magistrate to approach Vodacom, for Vodacom to supply them with particular information in relation to a particular cell phone. That I understand. I want to know, in respect of the police, what body of authority do you have or legislation that authorizes you to do exactly what Vodacom does?
I received a sworn statement from the investigation officer, which authorized me to do the necessary analysis for him. My Lord, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Section 36 of the Act, which allows me to make use of any exhibit to prove that the crime has been committed. But I can be wrong. I know there's a section which allows us to work on that.
I'm going to request you, Mr. Usteyn.
You don't want to call him Helen Usteyn?
Sir, I'm going to refer you I'd rather refer you to say. I always forget this phrase, say. But in any
I'll do it on your behalf. Whenever you want to address him, you must just indicate to me, and I'll tell him, Helen Usteyn, Advocate Nisi is asking you a question. No
but
problem.
the court does not even have to do that, my lord, because from where I'm standing, I don't think that I'm committing an offense.
No, you're
when
not.
I refer to him as Mr. Usteyn, that's not an offense. It can't be an offense, man.
My lord, I'm also an officer of the court. I just want to establish the difference between a title and a rank. Because Colonel Usteyn is an ex-police officer, and a title remains with him until he dies. So why are we keep on calling him Colonel if he's no longer a police officer?
He prefers that way.
No, my lord,
That's what he told
can we
the court.
get a direction from the court? We cannot get directions from the witness. He will remain Mr. Usteyn. In that docket, in that witness box, is Mr. Usteyn. He's no longer a police officer. He's an ordinary citizen of this country.
I'm still holding my rank, my Lord.
Yeah, but we'll address you as Mr. Usteyn, not as Kennedy.
My Lord, then I've got no purpose in court anymore. Because I get testified, give myself my witness statement is when I was a colonel in the police.
Or is that what he's implying, that because you're not a policeman, you can no longer testify?
Yes, that's correct.
No, I don't think he means it that way.
My Lord, let me also rise as an officer of this court. My Lord, for lack of better word, this is becoming a joke. For the sake of brevity,
I agree.
let progress be made.
Yes. In what way?
My Lord, whether he's a colonel, he's a master, as long as there's no insult, let us proceed.
Yes, okay.
My lord, on the same vein as the court would normally refer me as Mr. Mnisi, I'm an advocate. My title is I'm an advocate. But throughout this proceeding, the court has been referring to me as Mr. Mnisi, and I never took any offense on that. So I also find no logical reason for Mr. Usteyn to take an offense when I'm referring to him as Mr. Because that's not an insult. In any event, when he comes in there, a person says a Mr. He does not see a colonel. That's not an insult.
Yeah,
and I also find it very...
Can you
very
continue, Mr. Nisi?
That is exactly what the court has just done. The court does not address me as advocate. It says Mr. and I'm not taking an offense.
What does what does the ethics documentation state how advocates address the court?
The authority that the court has just referred us, I think it was the day before yesterday, it says for as long as you do not use a derogative word towards the witness, any word that symbolizes that you are respecting him then that is fine. So I'm saying to him, Mr. He does
Okay,
not
fine.
want me
No
to
problem.
refer to
Okay.
him as Mr.
You-
He wanted the court to make a ruling on this
No,
one.
no, I'm not making a ruling. You can continue calling Mr., but I will refer you as Colonel Steyn, okay?
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Mr. Steyn, I wonder if you understand me. I say Vodacom derives their power or authority to deal with or to provide cell phone records from a particular number through the legislation that I've referred you to. Now, now my question is, what body of the law empowers? Law means it can either be a body of the law, I refer to a legislation, and a policy, things such as those that are saying to the police, through this, you can do, you can go and investigate a person's cell phone in order to get a particular information that you can then go and use at court. I want that authorization. What is that authorization?
That authorization, according to me, is Section 205, my lord.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that the same Section 205 that authorizes you that after you have received information from Vodacom, for your own purposes of analyzing that information that you had received from Vodacom, you also need to add your 2-hour grace in your analysis in order to come to a particular result?
My lord, I can just mention the 2-hour rule got nothing to do with a Vodacom statement.
Exactly.
To-
And that is exactly my point. What are the bases? Where do you derive authorization for you, having received information from Vodacom, for you to analyze it? You say you're making your own 2-hour grace into the information that you derive from Vodacom.
If your XRY program tells you that you must add 2 hours, and you got a document from Vodacom with, let's say, normal time on it, then you know you must add 2 hours. It's simple like that.
With due respect, Mr. Steyn, I'm going to request you to make that information that says to you, if you're working on an Excel and information from Vodacom, you need to put in 2 hours there on. But thank you. That's just a request. Now let's proceed. Now, you say I heard the court saying that Exhibit Triple K5C and Exhibit Triple K5 are documents that you had prepared yourself. Is that so? Triple K5C and Triple K5. These are documents that you yourself had prepared. That is what the court said. Is that so?
Can you just elaborate on prepare or do myself? I did go and print this document and hand it to the court as an exhibit. I never compiled this document by myself.
Thank you. So is it then correct that you only went into your system and printed this document in the form in which they are? You never changed anything on this document?
That's correct.
Thank you. So in essence, what you're saying, this is exclusively a product of Vodacom?
That's correct.
Thank you. Now, on the exhibits, Triple K5C, which is the product of Vodacom, and Triple K5, may you kindly take us directly to the transactions which are the calls that were made between the number ending 4358 and the number ending 202.
If you only work on that document, it's not possible.
So that information, these documents which you handed in here, they do not show the call transaction which allegedly happened between the number ending 435 and the number ending 202.
That's correct, but the phone shows that data is being used. With other words, the BlackBerry web which he was using
Yes.
was active.
Thank
That
you.
is what you can read on that paper.
Okay.
You can see data has been used.
Yes. So basically, you handed in this document to demonstrate that indeed this BlackBerry phone at a particular period was active, it used data. That's just to demonstrate that there was data used on this phone in this particular period.
If
through
you
this
look to
document.
that exhibit, that's correct, Lord.
Thank you.
athi ubheka lapho uzobona ukuthi ya yebo le phone leyo isetshenziswa.
Now, that being the case, you then came to the conclusion that there was therefore a call that was made on the strength of this document, which are to prove that data was being used. That there was therefore a call that was made between the number ending 4358 and the number ending 202.
Like I already mentioned to the court, my lord, that's not enough. You have to use the second, I would say the third or fourth page on my exhibit 5E of this morning, where I indicate exactly that I used the download as well as the information on the section 205.
Thank you, sir. That is just what I wanted to clear. I think you will come to the exhibits on the documents which you handed in today, when the court takes you through that which the court would request you to clarify him on. I think we'll have an opportunity to cross-examine you after the court would have requested you to clarify him. Thank you.
But my lord, if you could remember correct, on Monday and Tuesday I did discuss that CD with them. I did point out to the court the times the calls or the transactions happened.
Now let's go to exhibit KK4. Have you already been able to find it?
That's correct.
Thank you. Now, who compiled this document, exhibit KK4?
That's what I received from the downloader.
The downloader will be one of the TSU members.
No, it's going to be Sergeant Muswana.
Thank you for the correction. And then, after you received this document, you went on to analyze it in order to compile your own viewpoint on whether or not there was indeed a communication between the number ending 358 and the number 202, not so?
That's correct.
So I'm going to request that for purposes of understanding this document or for purposes of naming it, although it's named, it's exhibit KK4, because I did not know where this document comes from, we're going to say this is a download that Mr. Usteyn received from Mr. Muswana,
That's correct.
just for ease of reference. And you're saying you went through this document, you analyze it, you understand the content of the document.
That's
After
correct.
I must be very sincere with you that the process that me and you are going to embark on is going to be rather very tedious. But unfortunately, that is what I need to do. I just got to do it. Now, as I'm saying, I don't know what this document is. All that I see here, it's numbers of cell phones and all the information that is contained here. But from what you're saying, this is a download. But nonetheless, let us look at this document. Is it true that it has got a number that ends with 358, not so? on the extreme left of the column.
That's correct.
That number is common throughout those pages, not so?
That's correct. It's because it's a download of that file.
Yes.
But
And the next column on the first page, this document is not even numbered. There are so many pages, but they are not numbered, but it's fine. We'll try to navigate through that. Now the next column there, it says type on top there, not so.
That's correct.
And the next column thereafter, it says tell from.
That's correct.
Let's quickly jump to, when you look on those numbers, they tell from. There's that number there just towards the end of the page that ends with the number 677. 3/4 down the page, towards the end of the page, the number that ends with 677.
That's correct.
It's also followed by a number ending with 677.
That's correct.
Yeah, I want our discussion to be concentrated on from that number onwards. Yeah. Now, for the sake of the information that I want to bring to your attention, let us concentrate from that point onward. Let us concentrate on the date and the time. In other words, we will no longer be reading that number that ends with 4358, whether it's a missed or whether it's a received, and who and the tell from. In other words, the first portion or the first 3 portions of the page, we would no longer be revisiting them. We'll only be concentrating on the last portion of the page where the time, the year, the UCT and the device are annotated. Are you with me?
That's correct.
Now, the next information after the one that I've read, it also reads, in terms of time, it also reads 02/08/2014, 5:56:17 a.m. UTC device and device, not so?
That's correct.
Now, the next entry is also on the 2nd of August 2014, and the time now it's 07:15:52 a.m. In other words, it's 15 minutes, 52 seconds past 7 o'clock in the morning, and there is that UTC and the device in bracket, and the last inscription there is also device, not so?
Yeah, but just please keep in mind, every
I'm
time
saying not so.
I just
I've
want
just
to draw
read
the
you
court
information,
attention to
sir,
something, my
understand.
lord. Because now
Understand,
he's
sir.
reading time and he put words in my mouth. And I just want to put the court's attention on it. There stands UTC. In
Yes.
other words, it's 2 hours. So he can't tell me now it's 7 o'clock in the morning. So it must be 9 o'clock in the morning.
No, but
What does a UTC means? It's a plus 2 hour rule.
it's fine.
It's fine, yeah. But
It's
don't
fine.
tell me then, now you want to come back with the loud speaker and tell me I said this. Just rectify my please, my lord.
My lord, I don't know what is the court's take on this attitude, because I'm just reading what I'm seeing here. Then the witness that takes is just diverting, is off-ramping, I don't know to where, but this is his document that is presented to court here. And he says, I must understand what this UTC stands for. I don't know what does it stand for,
Yeah, but then he's trying to explain to you what it stands for.
but I'm going to request the court, my lord,
What?
also to try and direct this witness in a proper way, that a witness should be couth. The court must instill couthness in the behavior of the witness.
Continue,
my
Mr.
lord. Thank you. I'm proceeding, my lord.
Yeah.
This is time for the short adjournment. Can we take the short adjournment at this point?
Okay.
You see what it's trying to do?